A good sermon always needs a great opening sentence. So, dear Jesse, dear Anne, you are about to build the house of your life on the ground of your love. Okay? Actually, it sounds like the best thing that could ever happen to you. You found someone who loves you and whom you love. What better can happen in life? And together, those two want to ground, they want to build the house of their life on their mutual love. Actually, what else could be the best fundament of this house, if not this love? Let's face the difficulties, coming not only from different countries, from different continents. Different families you might find out over the night. Different people, man and wife, there are differences. Maybe you have much in common, even if it's far away. Somehow Australia and Europe is in some things the same cultural hemisphere. And we have a common confession of our faith in Jesus Christ and this good Lord whom he revealed, as Anglicans and Catholics. We have the same baptism. But still there are enough difficulties. And actually, I think, at least for us here in Europe and in Germany, we had, compared to, let's say, your childhood, an increasing awareness that the future is unsecure. We actually don't know what your children will live like and where they will live, which language they will talk and which struggles, tensions they will have. So you want to build your future on your love. My goodness, what a burden. What a burden for a love. Your burden to bear all this, and a burden to fight all this, and a burden to be stronger than every force in the world that will come over you and your children. You are trusting your love, and that is good, but it would be wise to see the limitations even of you too, even of your love. Still, the love is the best that ever could happen to you, but it's not everything. And I think, now I'm convinced, the worst thing we could do on love is to put too much pressure on it. It can't be everything. And there's more in this world, and this is important. This more can give your love space to grow and to be strong. So you have been very conservative in picking, not only by the father who brought the bride in, very conservative, but you have been very conservative in picking the readings from the Bible. I encouraged them to find something very special for you. So what they found was, at least it's not unheard for a wedding. So this chapter from the first letter of St. Paul to the Corinthians, and it was the Beatitudes, the beginning of the Sermon on the Mount, Deutsch die Bergpredigt, die Seligpreisung. I have a sense that these two readings from the Bible might be the path that could lead you to in your life. At least that was my job, to find this path from the readings. But none of the 8 Beatitudes, Seligpreisungen, mentions love. Did you realize that? And to the opposite, it seems like Jesus is calling blessed people who lack the sheltering of love. If you look closely, whom he is praising. Blessed are those who are meek and sheepish, those who mourn and grieve for someone, those who have been knocked the stuffing out of them. I found out this expression, because it is poor in spirit. Zur Schnecke gemacht, sagt man auf Deutsch. Dieses arm im Geiste hat wahrscheinlich diese Bedeutung, dass Jesus diejenigen selig preist, die zur Schnecke gemacht wurden. Blessed are those who have been knocked the stuffing out of them. Is this good English? And Google said so. But none of those people described in the Beatitudes found the pleasures of love. So, what does Jesus mean when he describes what makes a life blessed and happy, when he describes it like that? I think this is nothing less than the core of Christian faith. So it's worth to have a closer look. I'm convinced in life you will never find true love if you depend on it. You will never find the true love if you depend on it. You have to let go laughing to be free to find joy. And you have to overcome the wisdom of this world in order to become wise. And you have to let go all craving for admiration and even for the desire of being loved. Because, funny enough, love can be selfish. Maybe it's no more love, but often enough. In the Sermon on the Mount, everything comes to the one point: trust in God only, and God only can give you all you need. And you only have to let it happen. Ground your life on an unpredictable God. You can't reckon or predict or be sure about God, but you can trust him and find out what happened. And maybe this is a far better fundament than every day wearing the whole world on your own shoulders, and even the shoulders of your love. So, dear Anne, dear Jessie, I'm now talking like St. Paul, I need not to speak to you like to children, nor do I have to speak to you like to people who cannot brook clear words. St. Paul says, when I was a child, I talked like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. But when I become an adult, I put the ways of childhood behind me. I think this is something very important, because it's not the same when Jesus is talking about become like children. It's something very different. For children, it is crucial to learn that there is a loving God who will take care of you. Because when you grow up as a child, you learn all world in relationship to yourself. What does this mean to me? When you grow up, I think this is what could happen, that you get free to see the world with other eyes, or with the eyes of others. For children, it's totally okay when you're centered around yourself. You have to find out where do you have to stay, where do you find something to eat, and where you find whatever. But this kind of love that looks childish, when you as an adult never learned better. Among adults, it would be, to speak with St. Paul, only a resounding gong or a clanking cymbal. And this happens if love never becomes more than falling in love. Wenn Liebe nie mehr wird als Verliebtheit, dann bleibt sie letztlich bei sich selbst stehen. Dann sehe ich eigentlich nur mich selber. Verliebtheit ist ein wunderbares Erlebnis und eine ganz starke Kraft, die zueinander führt, aber Liebe ist dann nochmal der Schritt mehr, tatsächlich nicht nur die eigene Verliebtheit zu genießen, sondern frei zu werden davon, es gehen lassen zu können, um ganz die Welt mit den Augen eines anderen zu sehen. As an adult, you might experience God different than you did as a child. And one way or the other, sometimes on the hard way, you have to learn that God is ever greater and is not simply fulfilling our wishes and our desires. It is the God we address in church with mysterious words and songs and symbols. And this is more truth than in an image of the so convenient God most people prefer. I'll just take the example of St. Paul. It's so common, even especially nowadays, to be fixed on your own image in a mirror. That means I see myself only. And everything in the world I see only through this. What does it mean to me? Does it harm me? Is it good? Is it useful? Is it bad? Is it pleasure? And Paul says, for then we see only a reflection as in a mirror. Whereas love means to become free of that being loved. The moment there is someone who sees you, not as a mean to own purposes, but as Paul says, fully known as you are, and fully respected and accepted, as you will say, for richer and for poorer, in sickness and in health. You can let go the anxiety about yourself when you feel that you are loved. Yes, indeed, the love is the future of the house you intend to build together. But as we celebrate your wedding as an holy sacrament, it is the one love that called you into being, the one love that helps you to let go desires as it is described in the Beatitudes. And then the love you, Anne, have to Jesse, and the love you, Jesse, have to Anne, will be a glimpse, a sign, a symbol, what we call a holy sacrament, that there is always a God who looks in love on you, and you can trust this love of God for you by starting to get free to love each other. Amen.